Our country is built on immigrants, and the reason we have birthright citizenship is to encourage people to move here.
I feel almost like it's un-American. I mean, we've been a country that has welcomed people.
Birthright citizenship in the United States is established by the 14th Amendment to the U.S. Constitution, which was ratified in 1868. It says that all persons born or naturalized in the United States and subject to the jurisdiction thereof are citizens of the United States. This principle, which is known as jus soli, or the right of the soil, grants automatic citizenship to anyone who is born on U.S. soil, regardless of the immigration status of their parents. But now, U.S. President Donald Trump has passed an executive order which will revoke birthright citizenship, particularly targeting children who are born in the U.S. to non-U.S. citizen parents. His executive order, titled Protecting the Meaning and Value of American Citizenship, hopes to limit citizenship to those whose parents are either lawful permanent residents or U.S. citizens. The proposed changes would affect not just undocumented immigrants, but also legal immigrants, including many who are on H-1B visas or other temporary visas. The Indian American community, which numbers over 5 million in the United States, according to the latest figures by the U.S. Census Bureau, will be particularly badly affected by this change. Of these 5 million, about a third, which is close to 2 million, are those who are born in the US, which means they are legal American citizens. Another two-thirds, a large majority of the Indian Americans in the US, are either naturalized citizens who've lived there for a number of years, or those who are on permanent residency, like the ones who have green cards and who can legally work in the United States. But a large number are also on temporary work visas. Many Indian nationals are H-1B visa holders who may have children who were born in the US after they migrated to the US. If Donald Trump's order takes effect starting next month, then the future children of these immigrants will no longer automatically receive American citizenship. This could discourage Indian families from immigrating or staying in the United States because this would complicate the legal status of their children. It could also affect their future opportunities, particularly when it comes to those kids going to college. There are anywhere between 350 to 500,000 Indian techies who are currently in the United States on an H-1B or some other form of temporary work visa. For Indian tech professionals on H-1B planning to have children in the United States, this executive order by Donald Trump is a significant challenge. So any child who's born after the 19th of February 2025 would not gain automatic citizenship. That would also complicate their access to benefits, whether it is in-state tuition when they go to college, or even qualify for federal aid for education. Now, this is a big factor which helps immigrant families, particularly those of Indian techies who are on work visas, because college education, as you know, in the US is a very expensive affair. Now, this change could also lead to many families reconsidering their plans for having children in the US and potentially opting for countries which have a more favorable immigration policy.
Sadly, this order and many others come as no shock. Trump is following through on a campaign promise. Today, I'm also following through on a promise to take action if Trump violates the law and infringes on our rights, on your rights, as he did today with what is, frankly, an un-American executive order. I have one message for President Trump. I'll see you in court.
I, Donald John Trump, do solemnly swear.
The other thing that Trump's executive action has done is that any child who was born to non-citizen parents, upon turning 21, could then legally file to bring their parents and make them legal citizens of the United States. Trump's executive action nips that in the bud as well. As of now, more than 20 states in the United States and a couple of cities have filed lawsuits against Trump's executive order. It does indicate that there is a strong legal opposition which could challenge the implementation of this executive order. Legal experts say that any attempt to revoke birthright citizenship through an executive order is likely to face significant hurdles in court because of constitutional protections that are offered by the 14th Amendment. In the United States, and as per US law, an amendment of the Constitution can only be revoked if it is passed by two-thirds majority in both houses of Congress. A president, through mere executive action, cannot change or revoke a constitutional amendment. The principle of birthright citizenship was upheld in the 1898 Supreme Court case of United States versus Wong Kim Ark, which confirmed that children who were born in the US to immigrant parents, regardless of their immigration status, are indeed US citizens. Now, the gentleman, Wong Kim Ark, was born in San Francisco in 1873 to Chinese immigrant parents who were laborers. In 1895, he made a visit to China, after which he was denied re-entry back into the United States under what was then prevalent and called the Chinese Exclusion Act. As per the Chinese Exclusion Act, Chinese laborers were prohibited from immigrating and barred from becoming US citizens. Wong argued in his case that as a person who was born in the United States, he was entitled to citizenship under the 14th Amendment. The Supreme Court, back in 1898, ruled in a 6-2 majority decision that Wong Kim Ark was indeed a US citizen. And ever since, anyone who is born in the United States is given automatic citizenship and constitutional protection under the 14th Amendment. But it's not just the United States. There are many countries around the world which follow the principle of jus soli, or the rights of the soil, which automatically grants citizenship to anybody who's born on their territory. In North America itself, other than the United States, Canada too has similar birthright citizenship. So any child who's born on Canadian soil is granted Canadian citizenship. In addition, in Latin America, countries like Argentina, Brazil, and Mexico also follow the jus soli principle and grant automatic citizenship. Now, in Europe, in contrast, there are many countries who grant citizenship based on the nationality of the parents rather than the location of the birth of the child. Germany, for example, primarily uses a principle called jus sanguinis, which means that at least one parent has to be a German citizen before the child can become a German citizen. Similarly, Japan too grants citizenship based on Japanese nationality of at least one parent. China too follows a strict policy of jus sanguinis. But many countries have also reformed their birthright citizenship laws. Many countries like Australia, for example, it has shifted from unconditional birthright citizenship to a conditional one. The condition is that at least one parent has to be a citizen or a permanent resident. This law was changed in 1986. In the UK, which previously offered birthright citizenship, has now tightened its rules, particularly for children of non-citizen parents. Either one parent has to be a British citizen or a permanent resident of Britain. Or a Britain-born child can then eventually become a British citizen later, either if they live in Britain till the child is 10 years old, or either if the two parents becomes a legal settler in Britain in the interim period. Now, overturning a constitutional amendment through executive order in America is highly unlikely and perhaps not even feasible. Such a change, like I said, would require a constitutional amendment process involving two-thirds majority from both houses of Congress. Not just that, it then further has to be ratified by at least 3/4 of all state legislatures. Birthright citizenship has been a cornerstone of American civil rights for the last 150 years. It ensures inclusivity and equal protection under the law for every single US citizen. Trump's proposal to end this practice could significantly impact millions, particularly those within the Indian American community and those who are H-1B visa holders and their children. Now it is over to the courts of America to deliver their verdict and for millions of immigrant families to deliver justice.